Hot Life Show. We are on Praise 108 Radio. I am your host. I am A Love, and with me, I have my two phenomenal, fantastic, and amazing co-hosts.
Wow.
I have Kay Rich and A Fox.
Yeah, I like that introduction. Thank you.
My pleasure. So tonight we are going to be talking about, if y'all haven't seen us on social media, I want you guys to please get on there. Please come, make sure you support our page. We are on Instagram and Twitter at _HotWifeHotLife. On Facebook, you can find us on HotWifeHotLife. So please go like our page, share this broadcast, and let people know what we have going on tonight. So we are going to delve into the topic of infidelity. Last week, if you were with us, we had Mr. Floyd Potts.
Yes.
Mr. Potts was on here last week, and he did an amazing job.
Yes.
He went into a lot of good detail to tell some of the women about, just some of the antics and shenanigans he had going on back in the day, and some of the things that he did to persuade women to, come his way and choose him. So, to piggyback off of that, we want to come back tonight and really get into infidelity and really start talking about more so of what do you consider infidelity to be? And a lot of times, I think as individuals, we tend to say that it's, actual physical intimacy or physical intercourse. But infidelity can be done prior to that, I believe. Would you agree?
Yeah, a lot of people do feel that way. They have a consensus. I want to say for our audience right now, this is a mature topic.
Yes.
So parental discretion is advised because, of
Yes.
course, dealing with infidelity, we're talking about something that could be inappropriate for young children. So, let's just keep that in mind as we continue on with the show this evening. But with that being said, yes, a lot of people feel like, infidelity could be the friendship before the act. It could be the virtualness. I tend to disagree. And I've always gotten beat up because I do disagree with that. But at the end of the day, people feel like that emotional connection with someone is even more detrimental than the physical, as far as a lot of people, are concerned. So, yeah, that's what we're delving into tonight to find out what the opinion is.
Yeah, I think.
Hey, Rich, what's your point
I
on this?
agree. I think a lot of people have different versions of what is cheating.
Yeah.
And so, and then there's no right or wrong.
Right.
It's what it
Right.
is to you. And so now.
Kind of like art. It's abstract. I just touched the shoulder. Really?
But if you don't have that conversation with your mate, and a lot of people don't.
Right.
They don't communicate. We always talk about communication being the number one thing. And so if they don't communicate with their partner what cheating is to them, then that's where the problem lies. Because a lot of people think porn, right?
Right.
Is not cheating. They
They think strip clubs.
strip clubs is not cheating.
And that was actually an argument that was on a previous show of mine. And literally, I got beat up for saying I didn't think not texting, but the videos like sending stuff or whatever, I didn't feel like that was
Sexting?
not sexting, but sending like your videos and stuff like that. I was like, you're not physically touching anybody. But they beat me up for that. However, said it was no problem with being in the strip club. Screws me. First of all, in the strip club, don't try to play. Y'all know darn well you got VIP, okay?
Right,
You
right.
can carry your tail upstairs,
Get a
and
lap
they can
dance
get all
and
that.
get
You
extremely
touching and
physical. Yeah.
everything.
Well, you touching right there on the floor, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so.
So my point is, how y'all gonna trip on videos when y'all up there at VIP? Don't play. But that was, the general consensus. Of course, there was the argument that they didn't feel like strip clubs were a form of cheating, especially if their spouse agrees with it.
Right. And you know what? I think that for a lot of people, it does come down to, maybe just where you're at in terms of your relationship.
Yeah.
In terms of if you've been in a position where you've been cheated on,
Right.
And the circumstances around that. A lot of people really tend to think that cheating is on you. Like, what did I do wrong? How did I cause? What could I have done differently? When overall, especially from last week, we learned that it's really the guy.
It's the
Or
person.
the lady.
Whoever
Whoever the person that does the
exactly.
cheating. it's really directed to where they are.
Correct.
Yeah.
You know, and issues that they have themselves that causes them to step out and do that. So I think, you know, more than anything, out of this topic, I want people to get that if you happen to be in a position where you are being cheated on, where you are, you know, feeling very insecure in your relationship, understand that it really doesn't have anything to do with you. And I think that a lot of people want to bring it back and say, well, maybe because she was doing or he was doing what you weren't doing, you know, but sometimes it's not about that.
Right.
You know, sometimes people go out and they cheat and it has nothing to do with the person that they have.
Exactly. But I want to flip that. I want to go on the other side of that. Well, there are reasons that some people do.
Absolutely.
But what I want to say, though, is a lot of people will argue with you that that's not the case, that person is still responsible at the end of the day. If they're so unhappy and if they're so miserable, then they should just leave a situation, not cheat on a situation.
Correct. Now, I do agree with that.
At the end of the day, if that is the case, you don't feel like there could be mitigating factors that cause someone to want to step out. Some people, it could be the other person that's pushing them away. It could be the one where they're looking for some kind of support. They don't get it at any point in time. You know, they try and they try and they try, and then you got somebody else in your ear that's saying all the right things and doing all the right things. You may not have had an opportunity to leave at that point. You know what I'm saying?
I do definitely understand that.
A thing that I would like to say is that there's so many different situations that I think cause infidelity, that it's not just one-sided. It's not just, well, this person was this and this is that. There are reasons and root causes to everything that somebody does, good, bad, or indifferent. And that's what I think needs to be explored and understood as we continue to delve into the topic. It's uncomfortable. You know, nobody really wants to talk about it, but it has to be, you know, addressed, because guess what? The percentages are so high.
Right.
And let me help church folk.
Go ahead.
Especially in the church, okay?
Yes.
You know, where we have a divorce rate based on infidelity. So they can say whatever they want. Oh, we don't need to be discussing. The problem is we're not talking about it. And that's why it's probably all happening all the time and much too frequent in this day and age.
Do you think it's because we're not talking about it, or do you think it's because it's so acceptable?
You know, it's funny that you say acceptable, because do you really think it is? Because, I mean, when infidelity gets exposed, it's like, oh, my God, how dare they? As if people can't have, you know, as if it could just
as
never...
it doesn't happen, right? As
Right.
often as it does. But I guess what I'm saying is, especially, you know, again in Atlanta, what you say, 23-1?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, in Atlanta, it's a different puppy.
Is it?
I do, yes, I do. I think so, to be honest.
So, you know, we hear women say all the time, all men are dogs, all men cheat. That's just what they do. They cheat, right? And so, you know, then like you say, once it happens, then they, with the uh-oh face, looking like, how this happened to me? Well, then you just say that all men were dogs and all men cheat.
But, you know, I think that in anything, people have are very judgmental towards other things happening, because you always think it's not going to happen to me.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
always think that, you know, my stuff is good.
Right,
It's not
right.
going to be messed
I'm
up.
taking
and
care of
maybe they have,
home. Right.
You know, and
Yes.
we I think we tend to build things up in our minds
That's
to
true.
think that it's one particular way. Especially, like you said, A. Fox, earlier, when you talk about people being in relationships and you think that everything is great. And just because they're coming home and you may have a little basic conversation, but maybe this person is wanting more than what you're offering. Or maybe, you know, you're tired all the time, you know, and they're a person who, you know, because Kay Rich, I think you've said before, you may be more of a go-getter type of person. Or you want to be out and be gone, and you're very active, whereas your husband is more of a homebody.
Laid back, right.
So when you don't deal with those type of issues, it tends to create a problem where maybe you cause somebody to maybe pursue a double life.
Right.
So they come home to you in what you think is like, oh, we have
Everything's
a great
perfect.
home life, but then they're out somewhere else and they're the life of the party. They turned up, you know, then everybody's face, you know, they always skinning and grinning. So when you start looking at it from that perspective, you know, you got to realize, hey, maybe, and take ownership, because like you said, A. Fox, it does take two, regardless, at some point in time.
Yes.
You have to own up to what you participate or how you add to that.
I think it's the person. You know, I think it's the person that, you know, because I always use this example. Like, I got friends who have, when I say do everything for their man.
Right,
Cook,
right.
clean. Okay, this is a grown show, right? Suck, tuck, roll,
Right, okay.
everything. And that man, as soon as he can hit the dough, he cheat.
Now, and see, in that particular case, see, again, this is where I say it goes to categories. You're talking about the narcissist. We had this question in one of our Facebook groups just the other day, and it talked about, what are reasons that men cheat? That was a question. It was on Family Feud. And one of the one I said was just greedy, because you do have those men that have it all at home, and it still isn't
not enough.
which to me represents what Mr. Potts was talking about last week. The narcissist, it's all about him. It's all about, so even though the gravy train is home, it's not enough for him.
Because it's about him. Because he still hasn't done what he needs to do. He hasn't done his work. Right.
But there are, and I'm going to tell you, I'll play the other side of this coin. I don't think men want to cheat as much as we think they do, to be honest with you. What I think tends to happen is that women can be very aggressive in wanting to get what they want. So you'll wear a brother down, okay? I mean, let's keep it 100, ladies.
Today, because women are very
and if
aggressive
we're talking
today.
about...
even girls, even young girls.
Well, I was about to say, hold
on,
on, this ain't happened just yesterday. The girls was faster in school than the boys were any day. I'll never forget, even in college, I remember how all the little, my aunt used to say, fast tail girls.
Right.
The little fast tail girls was worrying about the parties where the boys was in there. They were studying in the library. So a lot of times they can stay focused and they can be focused, but women can tend to be very aggressive. And in Atlanta, I say especially, when you tell a woman, that's just not your flavor, they're gonna turn it up until they become the flavor.
Well, and I would say this too for women, and I've heard men say that they may not be interested, and the first thing a woman want to say is, "Oh, well, you must be a homosexual." So you start putting things to a position, like you say, Spice, where you want to make the man feel like, okay, well, if you don't want to be with me, it has to be something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Versus saying, okay, I respect the fact that as a married man or a man in a committed relationship, you would rather not be with me. And I applaud you and appreciate that. But instead of doing that, you flip it and make him feel like, he's doing something wrong because he's not pursuing you.
Yep, exactly. That's another good take. So, I mean, callers, what do you guys have to say? Call in at 770-415-2149. Let us know your opinion. Does anybody have a take on this particular topic? We would love to hear from you. And we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue to delve into the topic. And while we're on this subject, we're going to talk, can a marriage survive infidelity? Right. Because a lot of people have experienced this and want to know, can you bounce back? I want to let you guys know there is hope. You're listening to Hot Wife, Hot Life right here on 108 Praise Radio. And we will be right back in just a few.
Radio. Again, please call in 770-415-2149, 770-415-2149. We're talking about infidelity tonight. Can your relationship survive infidelity?
Yes,
That's a good
I think
question.
that it can. I do.
I know it can. I know,
Yeah.
I know it can.
The vows are for better or for worse. And I think that a lot of times people negate the hard work part of that, which is the worst part, which in some people's mind is the worst thing that could actually happen in your marriage when you go through that outside of abuse. Because in their mind, that is a form of abuse as well. Well, with that being said, I go to readersdigest.com, who has the answer. And they have...
Okay.
All through Reader's Digest.
Yes. They actually have great article. It's 6 steps for the unfaithful spouse, okay? I'm going to read the steps and then we can expound on them.
Okay.
So the first step is to, number 1, promise, of course, to stop the affair. Number 2, answer any and all questions. Number 3, show your spouse empathy no matter what. Number 4, keep talking and listening no matter how long it takes. Number 5, take responsibility. And number 6, don't expect quick or easy forgiveness. Okay? So those are powerful. So, what do you guys have to say for number 1 to promise to stop the affair? Of course, if you done got busted, you really should. But to be honest, I don't want you promising nothing to me you ain't going to stop doing, to be honest.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, keep it 100 with me. Don't, just say that because you're just saying it if that's not where you feel. Because if we have to do a level of separation, be fair about making that happen.
I just know so many people, once you're in it, it's so hard to get out of it.
It is.
And that even though they may want to stop it, of course, feelings are now involved and a lot of time or whatever has happened if it's not just a one night, if it just wasn't a quickie or whatever.
Exactly.
But I know, of course, dealing with clients like that in marriage counseling, I have many clients who, are in this struggle right now of trying to figure out why they won't let the other person go, but that person refuses to leave. They refuse to leave the house, but they refuse to leave the relationship as well, which puts a strain on everything. And it's like, and if you've invested 10, 15, 20 years into a marriage, you don't want to just give up.
And speaking of that, if anyone, I'm sure everybody has, if you haven't heard of it, hopefully you've seen it, but the movie Fences, was the prime thing about that.
I haven't seen it yet. Okay. No, you can say it. Yeah, that's fine.
It was an awesome movie, and it was very well put together because that particular time frame, I think, was a big time frame where you had couples who were married for years who had families somewhere else,
Oh, wow.
So in this particular case, what happened was, they had been married for a long period of time. He had another child, from someone else. But during the course of the relationship, he wound up getting involved and having an adulterous relationship with someone else. And the reason he told his wife, is because this other lady was pregnant.
Oh, wow.
So, but at the same time, his thing was, she does something for me. I don't want to let that go. And so when somebody says, I'm going to stop, are you really going to stop? You have to really be honest with yourself and know that, hey, if what I'm not getting here at home, I love you, I want to be with you, I enjoy what we have, we've invested a lot of time, I don't really want to, put you out because I do love you. But at the same time, I love how this person makes me feel, and you have to really, weigh that to say that's kind of deep,
and that's exactly
that is the,
and that also takes a level of transparency and truth that may be a hard pill to swallow.
Exactly.
But again, at least be fair enough to give that option if that's where you're at. I just feel like, for me, I wouldn't want you to say it's done and it's really not done.
Correct.
I really would want it to
and
be
I
done
think the
in
average
your
person
heart.
doesn't want, because I think the average person, even though for most people they say they want to hear the truth, and a lot of times they don't.
Yeah,
exactly.
They can't handle the truth.
Exactly.
They can't handle the truth. Right.
Well, because not being funny, but I know a lot of couples that when the guy first cheated, I mean, the expectation was, no, you're going to end this today, and this is
Right.
the end of that. And, that's not realistic.
Oh, you know how we do the woman calls the other woman and let her know that I'm here, and then,
and I'll
leave it
even
alone.
say this, too, because this just came to me as well. You know, what I do find a lot of times, so I'm going to give this scenario. When the other person, whether it be the woman or the man, is the fantasy, right? Mm-hmm. Because you have complacency at home, what you feel is boring, common, every day, and then you have fantasy, right? What tends to happen, though, sometimes where I say it may be a quick turnaround is when you realize that even though this relationship in your mind is fantasy, once you've been exposed, it's kind of like that fantasy factor comes out of it. And when you realize the hurts that are surrounding that situation, it kind of makes you sometimes pull back why was I doing this to begin with? Because if you're really being honest, remember, you're not spending all your time. Half of your time got to go to your spouse.
Right.
So you're only seeing this person once every blue moon. Well, heck, if any dude see a chick once a week, they're going to be a fantasy. Because we're not going off on you. We're not asking you to go take no garbage out. We're not asking you to do anything but sleep with us.
That is a prime example. Okay, man. I agree with that in that a lot of times people think the grass is greener on the other side, but a lot of times it looks so much better than it is because you've got this person over here holding everything together for you to go in and do what you do.
It's like we said, at our little meeting, our little event the other weekend, like, the imposter is there. He doesn't have to show himself. He's supposed to be on his best behavior when I see you once a week or once a month.
Right.
I mean,
there's no
I
effort
can put
there.
on my airs and I can be the best person that I am.
Oh, she wears sexy lingerie.
Yeah.
Be with her a year. And
a month.
Be with her 35, 45 days.
And if she work, you be lucky if you get some girl boxers. Sit there.
Right, so and vice versa,
Exactly, and that
see
is
if he gonna open the door and cook your dinner in 30 days.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And then you start thinking like, let me pack him up and bring him on over there to you. See how long you're gonna keep him coming back like. Back and drop him off.
And I will say that is the flip side of that. Because some women be like, okay, if you think he all of that, please go ahead. Because he done worked my everlasting nerve for 20 years, 30 years.
Girl,
go
just
ahead.
come be a fly on the wall for one night. I mean, really. It's so true. That's so true. I think that a lot of people stay in denial about a lot of things. And that's how we get caught up in the, as you say, the fantasy of relationship. And then before long, you're in it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Then you're in it and it's hard to leave it alone. And so.
Well, because you've been having this, like you said, double life for a long time. It's kind of.
And I know some people doing a double life.
Pops was saying.
Women, I know some women doing double life for 20 years and the husband don't know.
Wow.
That's a long time.
Well, I mean, that's another relationship.
I'm
like, but you got to think about it.
That's a lot of.
But you know what? I'm gonna ask you this
plotting.
though: is the man unaware because he cheating?
I don't know.
And sometimes you don't see what's really right there in front of you when you ain't doing what you're supposed to do. Because I'm telling you, everybody's a creature.
That's true.
What you want to do, so
that's
true.
It
makes it easier for you to do.
That's true.
It balances itself
makes
out.
it easier for me to see.
But by nature, though, when a woman cheats, that's hard for a man to.
It is. They can't take it.
They can't take it like we can.
Yeah. Women can handle.
Right.
Because a man is really thinking about, like you said last week about being a narcissist. So he is thinking in terms of his ego,
right,
and how he's being portrayed.
Yes.
Like who.
So then to feel like you've been walking around cheating this long a period of time,
right.
In their mind, they're like, huh?
Are you?
And they do not forgive as quickly as we do.
No,
we
don't.
We don't take you back and they be like done.
Exactly. A man will cut it off quicker, but at the same time, for women, I think that as women, we tend to be more sympathetic to the situation. Whereas with men, you can't go to your boys and say, man, my wife was cheating on me. How do you go? How do you go do that?
Right.
So that's why I think
it's for real?
Exactly.
You take
but I think women measure time. Men don't measure time. I think that's what it is. We done been together 15 years, 3 months, 6 days, and 48 hours. I can't leave. You know what I'm saying? Men don't look at it like that. We look at it in time.
And for a woman, I think too, we just be like, ain't nobody about to start all over.
Right.
Okay?
Maybe that's it too. That's a good point.
You know,
Ain't nobody got time.
I think women a lot of times look at it like, I've invested.
That's it. Exactly. It is investment.
It's really even in just a woman's perspective of how we handle anything. You know,
Yes.
when you go to a job, you stay there a long
that's
time.
true.
Yes.
Even if it came to a point where you were passed over for promotion and you have to train a person to come in and take your position.
Wow.
You're like,
That's good.
that's kind of hard to train somebody for something that should have been mine.
Right.
But we still do it because we feel like, well, I've put in too much time.
versus
just
yeah.
quitting and going to somebody who can.
Because I already
appreciate what you
told
bring to the
Steven,
table.
if we don't make it, that's it. I'm not getting married again. I would
Nah,
never
I wouldn't
do
do
this.
it again.
It's just too much work. I wouldn't do that for another duration of my life. It's not gonna happen. So Stevie, hang in there. We in it for the long haul, baby.
Steve, I'm Steve's cheerleader. Go, Steve. Do what you do.
I wouldn't do it either. I
I'll go through all
wouldn't get
this
married
mess
again.
compromise and all that.
It's just that
Tired.
I'm just over it. I mean, I love it while I'm
You
here,
do, but I'm saying
if
if it
ended,
doesn't, I'm
or
not
if
starting that
say God
cycle
forbid
over.
when he leave, because he's gonna leave
Yeah.
before me. Then
I'm glad you done worked that out for the Lord.
Look,
I'm glad he done told me.
Revelation.
Look, let's
then I'm
just
not
make
gonna. I'm not doing that.
I think we got a caller on the
Awesome.
line. Caller, introduce yourself, please.
Oh,
Okay.
it's okay.
Call
Listen,
back
call
in.
back.
Oh,
Don't
come back.
be scared. We won't
what
even
we-
say what your name is or where you are. Just give us a call and
Exactly.
let us know. So here's the second thing. It says answer any and all questions. Okay. So you know when I heard this, that's ridiculous.
I don't think that's a good thing.
I
I
think
don't
it's a good
either
idea.
because why do I want to hear about what you did
It's
with
just like she
somebody
said
else?
though, but you really can't even handle
can't
it,
handle it.
and then
Right.
that's gonna make it harder to forgive.
It is. Oh, yeah,
what
you
I'm
know I
saying?
had
You
her
know
up
every
against the
detail.
wall, and
Exactly.
we did this and
Right.
and she wanted to
Well, you remember that day you went to work where we snuck in the car and we
because
did.
not every episode.
Yes.
And
Plays
that
out in your
part.
mind
it
over
does,
and
it
over.
does.
And for you to continue, say you decide that you hear all this and you decide to stay. Well, how many times do you replay?
Are you
those
going to go
details
back to?
in your
And to me,
head?
that is selfish. And let me help some Christians out. The Lord don't even expose all your foolishness. So don't be sitting up there
Right.
asking 20 and 30 questions.
Right.
I cheated. That's what happened. I'm taking accountability. Move on. You don't got to hit because you already done put in your mind what you think
Think
it
it
is
happened.
anyway.
That's right.
So it's time to heal at this point
Right.
instead of keep reliving. And I ain't trying to be funny. I feel like the ones that want to relive that, man, something wrong with them. Something in their head just ain't right.
Now, come on,
I'm
now,
serious.
as women, we like details. We want to know. We
do.
like.
No,
I
we
want to
don't.
know
I
what
think that's a
happened.
level
Tell
of
me
punishment
where.
It
for yourself
is.
on top of
Yeah,
something
something ain't right
already
normal
being
about that. I
devastated.
don't care what they say. I'm sorry. Yeah,
You
I
know,
want to
because
hear
you
what
say
you
you want-
did.
yeah.
I bent her over. I did this and that. Really? It's something wrong with no. There's some issues
You
that
so
we gotta
silly.
go that deep. I'm sorry.
But
sorry,
I
and I don't
think-
mean to offend nobody out there, but that's just my opinion.
I know for me, I'm the type of person I like closure or what I think is closure. So I ask a lot of questions, right? But I mean, like you said, sometimes.
Because I'm saying, in your mind though,
Yeah.
K. Rich, if your husband said
Yeah,
you're gonna keep asking him a bunch of questions now,
maybe.
and you would be okay with
No,
that.
I know it ain't good, but
Yeah,
I'm just
but I'm
saying.
about to
I
say,
just
you
know
a
that I would. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes you
I
can't
just
help
know
yourself.
I
Right,
would.
sometimes you can't help yourself. You know,
Because I know
You
me,
know, you-
I'll be
like
over
you
there
said.
baking, and next thing I know, you about to get hit upside the head with a broomstick. Because
But
I
like
be
she
thinking
said,
about them
though,
days that you claim, you know, I done
that
asked
you
you because I'm like,
claim,
hold
yeah,
up, that's the day you went off on me.
That's
Hold
what
up,
I'm
that's-
talking about right
You
there.
know what? Now, my thing is, I believe that when you go to the extent of that much detail, even if you were okay,
Yeah.
to still say, I forgive you and we're going to move on, we're going to work it out. At what point in time, 6 months down the road, y'all riding down the mountain, you say, can you stop over here? He's like, I don't feel like stopping. You say, oh, but when you was with such and such,
You already
so
know.
It's an automatic flashback, you know, so for me,
You already know.
that's not a good idea.
And I'm going to ask you, too, sometimes I feel like that's a trick, too, because in your mind, you want to now justify that you want to go out and
That's
skip
true.
around. So in your mind, you like, he done had her doing this, that, and the other. They went this place and that place. Then when your opportunity presents itself, boom, there you go.
I mean, but I think as women, we want to we just want to
Some
know.
women
We
can't
should
reach.
know.
No, I don't
We
want to know
probably
nothing.
should know, but
Tell
I
the
know
truth
that I
and
want to
keep
know.
that part. Let me think
'Cause
that
I'm
this
like
was a
you.
slip up.
I'm gonna
I
be
want to hear
cooked,
about you was
no.
with them for no 20 years.
I found a post today. It says that cheating is a choice.
That's
It's
what
not
you
a mistake.
said. That's what
right.
you
It's
said.
a choice.
Right.
It is. I mean,
It is
overall,
a choice.
you
It's
can say
definitely
whatever
a
life
choice.
is about
Yeah.
choices.
It
is.
It's about choices, and I think that even if you were predisposed to cheating, even if it was in your makeup, even if you like being around people and that attention, you still make a decision of weighing your options.
That's true.
And I feel like regardless of anything else, if you feel like you need to cheat, then you should be man enough or woman enough to say that I'm not going to subject you to this because I do love you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because even with your worst enemy, you don't want to,
hurt
want to just
anybody.
be dogmatic to that point.
Yeah.
So you have to figure out at what point should you just go ahead and leave.
Listen, I want to hear ladies and men. 770-415-2149. I want to hear what you think, because I think ladies want to know all the questions. That's the problem. We ask too many questions.
Absolutely.
And the men get frustrated and be like, forget it.
And let's do a shout out too, because we've got some Facebook fans on here. We have, let's see, Miss Catawba Walker. We have Carla. We have Shane. We have Duval. We have Helen. So thank you all for tuning in this evening. Please feel free to call in and share any questions or comments you have. You can dial in to 770-415-2149.
All right.
We're going to take a break or we're going to keep going?
You know what? Let's go and delve into this next one. Show your spouse empathy no matter what. Now, I do agree with that. Now, let me ask you this, though. What is the difference between empathy and just being punished every day? I'm just asking.
With the level of empathy, it kind of makes you put yourself in a position to understand why it could have happened.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And
I think that is important.
If you're realistic
if you care,
in anything that you do, you should be able to separate and say, it's not a good feeling.
Right.
But you should be able to say, okay, maybe I kind of understand why you did what you did.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, like.
You mean for the person who cheated?
For the person who is listening to this person speak.
Okay.
And because you're the person who has to give the empathy.
Right.
The person that's going to be giving the forgiveness.
Right.
You have to be able to see.
Well, the
it's
person
also
that cheated,
outside.
really, because the one that cheated needs to have empathy that they understand why their mate is upset.
Oh, why they're upset with
Because
them.
that's what that is really about, because this is the side where they're saying the person that actually did the cheating, you're going to have empathy, because you're going to have to realize that anger is going to be there, and you just need to be empathetic for why.
You have to be able have to be able to understand that once it's out the bag,
right,
it's going to be anger,
and there are going to be
questions
asked. There's going to be that lack of trust.
Right.
Yeah,
but
and
then
it's going to take time.
It definitely will take time, but I believe that if you truly want to work it out,
then you would know that there may be things.
You're going to have to suck it up.
You're going to have to.
Now, for those people who come back like, listen, I'm not going to do all that. I'm not going to, and they start kind of getting angry and all that.
Right.
Then that
Just get over it. Just get over it.
But that may be a person who really hasn't decided, who may say they're done, but aren't really done.
That's true.
Or just, can somebody not at some point have a level? Because I'm not trying to be insensitive, right? And I only say things based on, things that I know for a fact, but could it also be, ain't nobody gonna keep hearing this for no 10 years that I messed with somebody 10 years ago. Sit down with that mess.
10 years is extreme.
And even after a couple of years, it's extreme, okay? Seriously, because at some point, then you need to leave.
But my thing is this, and that's it. Yeah, that's it. But it's just like grief, though. It's just like grief. I can't tell you how long to grieve.
True.
But I don't want you to bring it up every time you get
right.
mad at me either. But we do have a caller. Go ahead. Oh, great. We got 2 callers. Let's see what we got. Hello? Hi, you're on Hot Wife, Hot Life.
I think somebody's talking, but we can't
They are.
hear.
I can't hear them.
Hold on, one moment, caller.
You there, ma'am? Can you hear us? I can hear you briefly. I hear.
No, they're
but
talking.
We just
We
can't
hear
hear.
Yeah.
Go ahead with your question. We're going to see if we can hear you. Go ahead.
Where's the phone? Put on speaker.
You guys are live.
Okay, go ahead, caller.
You there? Go ahead. Did we lose her?
You're not saying anything.
Okay. We need to see them.
There they go.
Just hung up.
Yeah. What's the next one? You said we had 2 people?
That's why.
Okay. Whoever that was, call us back.
We do apologize for the brief technical difficulty, caller. Is there anybody else out there on the line that wants to ask a question or make a comment?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I was going to say, this is Alex from Atlanta. In regards to infidelity, it's kind of a twofold thing, because sometimes in a relationship, especially, in a marriage, disconnect and disappointment can leave a window for infidelity.
That's good.
And I think that sometimes when people try to pretend that there is not a disconnect and the person that feels the disconnect gets disappointed, it leaves the room and the window open for people that are sitting around thirsty and waiting, and it creates that pocket if you continue to ride that pocket out. Some of us are, connected with people that we already knew had destructive behaviors as far as fidelity, period. Like, I knew you was a hoe when I met you. You already had 3 girlfriends, a wife, and a baby mama, and I just wanted to be number one. And
Wow.
That's good, Alex.
and now I'm in a situation in which I'm the wife
Right.
now.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted you, now that I'm the wife, I want you to be faithful.
Stop everything.
Now that I'm the wife, I want you to
Yes.
be dedicated.
That's good.
But when I was the 3rd, 4th runner-up mistress,
Right.
it was okay.
True.
So it just depends on what part of the spectrum. I think that there's nothing too impossible for God to fix in regards to a union that brings
That's
together.
right.
But both people have to be dedicated to
Right.
repairing the damage that was done, period.
Yes, yes,
If you're
yes.
not dedicated to the process, to the work, to owning it, and turning from the behavior, cutting off, if you got to change your number, if you're going to have to say, I'm sorry, over the course of a year, 2 years, however long the process is going to take for healing to take place,
Exactly.
if you're not dedicated to that process, then you might not make it over that hill.
That's true.
But I'm too crazy for all of that. So I just can't be with people that's going to make me have to get bail money. That's just me.
Right.
Exactly.
That is so true.
That
That's
was good. Yes,
thank
thank you.
Awesome advice.
You're welcome.
I know I love y'all, but I'm sorry. 1 or 2 years, I'm sorry.
But she brought up
And
a
I
really
think
good
it's
point.
easier for
Said than
people
done,
on.
though.
I do. I really do, because I feel like people who are on the other side of the spectrum, if it were you and you were the one going through
That's
that,
true.
you would get tired,
agree.
because everybody makes mistakes at some point in time in their life. So to keep revisiting something that I feel like
It's too
you
much.
should, right? Because at some point, then you just need to walk away.
Correct.
Why would you want
Why
somebody to
still
be
be-
badgered
exact-
all the
That's
time?
true.
Just
That's
walk
true.
away.
That's
Exactly.
true.
I do agree with that. I do believe that there has to be a point where you have to be able to move on.
You have
Yeah.
to.
And you have to decide either you're going to stay, and it's no different from when you have girlfriends and they tell you about how their spouse or whoever they're in a relationship with is not treating them the way they want to be treated, and they come and tell you all the time.
all the time,
But after
right.
a while, you kind of like, I need
Listen.
you to either shut up and stay.
Right, right,
You're gonna
right,
stay and
right.
shut up,
Right.
or either go
Exactly.
ahead and leave.
Exactly.
So at some point for anybody,
That's true.
you're gonna get tired of hearing the same
Yes.
stuff over and over again.
And
so
that's when you actually have to start really looking within yourself as well, because then you have to ask yourself, at some point, the punishment that continues, why is it that you cannot let it go? You have to do that in grief as well. You know what I'm saying? When people have moved on, it's hard.
It's
I
underlying
don't,
issues that
and you're
may-
never gonna, and I'm not saying to anybody out there you're going to get over it. What I'm saying is it should not continue to be live in your
shouldn't be
immediate
consumed.
life.
It shouldn't consume your relationship.
all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
When you say that you're ready to try to rebound and make it happen.
Correct,
If you're both doing the work, it shouldn't come up all the time.
Yeah.
It should not.
If you're not, then what you're doing is allowing the infidelity to destroy your relationship.
You are,
Anyway.
yes.
You're just staying
Yes.
together
That's
and
right.
destroying it bit by bit by
Yes.
continuing on with that, negative behavior
Yes.
versus, deciding to just cut it and move on.
Yes.
You know,
And
'cause
I will.
You can't buy peace of mind. Peace of mind is a great
that the
thing.
truth?
to have.
Amen. Amen.
Yes.
And number 4 and 5 says you keep talking and listening no matter how long it takes. And I definitely, communication, like you said, you're not going to get through without that. And take responsibility. Listen, I have to say this seriously, for real. Just tell the truth. You did it. Okay? Stop being like Bill. I didn't have sexual relations with this woman. Okay, because
Okay,
at the
but
end
wait,
of the day,
because is that cheating? That wasn't
well,
sexual
me
relations
now,
to him.
and I get that part, but I will say in my mind, if someone go down on you, that's cheating. To me, that's some type of form.
I think
now,
it's
if y'all
cheating.
videoed it, I might have a different perspective because y'all never really touched each
You
other.
is retarded. I
But
do,
it's
I do
a
agree
level
that it's
of
cheating.
knowing what the person that you're with, kind of sort of like what Alex said, if you're dealing with somebody up
Yes,
front
that's true.
and you're dating and
Yeah.
they know that you're dealing with them and they have other people that's in their lives and then you get married.
You
well,
came
they
into
you
this
came into the
relationship, yeah.
with the expectation that you've been cool all this time while you tripping now.
Right.
So you really have to already know what that thought process is for the person that you're with.
Yes.
Because for some people, porno, cool, do what you do.
Right.
Right, because you in there on the
Right.
computer, you're
But
not
yeah.
bothering me,
Right.
whatever.
Or
Yeah.
for some people, they may be like, okay, if you got people that you talk to, I'm okay as long as it's not a actual physical relationship. But then there's some people who be like, you can go on and do what you do as long as you don't fall in love. So you got to really
Right.
know what your person
That's true.
and
It is,
what your
it
level,
is.
and then you got to respect it for that person because what I think may be cheating and what you think may be cheating is
might
two
be
different,
two different things,
But you need
yes.
to respect what I think.
Yes.
Because you're
Yes.
committed.
But that's what I'm saying. I think most people don't have that conversation.
Correct, they don't.
They don't.
Because you don't want to know up front. If you're so in love with somebody, you don't want to risk losing them by talking about some things that you feel like may be uncomfortable.
Which
so a
do
lot of
need
times-
to be
but it needs to
discussed,
be
yeah.
discussed.
Everything needs to be
Well,
discussed, people.
just
That's what
like
I
death,
say. And
to be honest with you, it's just like death. A lot of people,
Don't
we
wanna
don't
talk
prepare,
about it, yeah.
so we don't
wanna
talk
deal
about
with- we
funeral.
don't talk about the hard topics that you need to
That's
talk
true.
about.
Exactly.
And that's why when the
where we come
hard
from.
stuff come, we can't sometimes can't survive.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think
Yeah.
a lot of times too, we are conditioned as, especially women. When you think about growing up, did your mother really feel comfortable having that sex talk with
That's true.
you? You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't. I never even got this.
You
Right.
think
That's
about
what
it,
I'm
most
saying.
times
Yeah.
you learn from
Yeah.
the people that you hang around
That's
with.
true. Yeah.
Or you learn from
From
what you
TV,
see on TV,
exactly.
or you learn from what
Yes.
you read in
Yeah.
a book or whatever the
Yes.
case may be. So when you think about how dysfunctional really, that
Yeah.
is to start off with,
That's true.
it makes it very hard to deal with difficult topics when you're
Yes.
moving forward in
That's
life.
true.
So
Yes.
like when you're dealing with, even with my girls, I mean, they've had issues with people talking about oral sex in 5th and 6th grade.
That's right.
Right.
That's
So
right.
at that point, that's things that you have to address head on. You can't just brush that up on the table and and keep it moving.
You know
have
what?
to
And
address
that is so true because, and I'm telling you, it's paramount. And in the church, we get so timid about talking about these topics like they don't exist. Okay, church folks, if you got children, guess what? You done had sex. Okay, so at this stage of the game, we know that it's something we do. And I'll never forget. Remember when at one of the churches, one of the pastors, his daughters, they were talking about safe sex. Okay, he was showing them how to put on a condom in the event they decide to do something that they're not supposed to do. And he got so much criticism from the church for that. But it's like, listen.
I
we're
would rather them
living
be
in the
prepared.
world.
That's right.
And you got to be able to.
Because they
It's
come
not
up in
saying
here
that-
pregnant
It's
or
not
with an
saying that you
STD.
That you
and
condone it.
yeah.
You don't like
Exactly.
the lifestyle,
Yeah.
but you know it's reality.
With anybody, with anything, the more informed
Informed you are, the better
you can make decisions.
That's
and
right.
choices,
Better
Because
decision.
I'm telling you,
We have a
some of
caller,
the,
but go
okay,
ahead. I'm
go
sorry.
ahead. No, go ahead, caller.
We have a caller on the line. Hello, are you there?
Yes, I am. Just listening in.
Okay.
All right, thank
you.
you.
For
Thank
listening
you.
in.
But yeah, so you're absolutely right. We definitely, when it comes to discussing things,
Yeah.
we have to start getting dialogue. And let me tell you, some of the stories that when my kids would come home and ask me, I used to try to make sex so comfortable for them, even in the earlier stages, because I never had that growing up.
Right.
And I feel like it would have negated so much stuff that I learned from experience, as opposed to if I would have just had guidance in that area.
Exactly.
And so my kids, would go back and tell their friend, your mama lying because my mama said this is really what that means.
Right.
Because they would tell all kind of far-fetched mess.
Yes. Because
Okay,
we
don't
don't
have
know. We
nothing
just
to do
guessing.
with
Yeah, it's a speculation because
Yeah.
you're just like, well, if they said this, I guess that's really how it is. When you,
Yeah.
And then,
It's so
the
far
more
from the
you
truth.
try to hide something, the more we're going to go look for it, right?
True.
Don't do that.
By
don't do that.
nature, yes.
Yeah, so, but it's not just the church, it's the schools.
Yeah.
Like I told you,
Yeah.
we took 90 girls pregnant in ninth grade. 90 girls pregnant in ninth grade. They did not want us to say sex. I'm like, they're pregnant.
Like we kind of bypassed.
honestly speaking, we had a girl, that, when I was in probably junior high school, and pregnancy wasn't the word that came
Yeah.
up, but everybody knew that's what it was. But that's
It's
just
so
they put
retarded.
on
That
something
is so
else,
crazy,
like a
yes.
medical condition.
Yeah, they make
but
them
I mean,
leave and go
9
to
months
alternative
9 months
school.
later, there's a baby involved.
But that's where in the Bible it says we so holy we know earthly good
Absolutely,
at times, because
yeah.
that is ridiculous. At this stage of the game, they probably doing more than we
Oh,
did
they
to
are.
get
They
ninth
are,
grade,
yeah.
eighth grade.
I
Come
think
on.
that if when you start off at whatever age you feel like it's acceptable for your child to know about these things.
Mm-hmm.
Even in talking about infidelity and all of those things, if you dealt with it in the beginning, where
Right.
people know what to expect, then you have a
It
better
doesn't
chance
make it
of
so
having
hard,
It doesn't make
right.
it so hard.
Like in your dating
Yes,
process.
yes.
Or
Yeah.
it doesn't make it so to the point where you start feeling like your self-esteem becomes low, or you deal with other issues and it comes out in a different way. So I'm being cheated on, so now I'm going to start doing some other things that are destructive to me because I feel like I'm not worth anything because this person cheated. Well, if you dealt with it up front,
Yes.
then what happens is you build a strong individual. So when you
Yes.
deal with this, you already know your standards. You already
Right.
know
This is what is
what
you're
I'm
going to
deal
have.
with
A,
and
B,
what's
C,
not.
D.
And
Right.
then you move on and you don't allow yourself to be put in a situation that you don't want to be put in.
Yeah.
And
And if you do, I feel like because the communication was so good
Right.
and rich, even if you make that mistake, you're strong enough to rebound.
Correct.
Because
Yes.
you guys have had that
Because-
established from the
exactly,
beginning.
exactly.
And number 6, of course, in that is don't expect quick or easy forgiveness,
Right.
which I do understand that. They're
Right.
going to be angry for a long time. That's either one. And I'll even say, for a woman, we'll probably get grilled even worse, to be
Yeah,
honest.
definitely.
Right.
Yeah.
Because of the ego of the male and
Right.
just how they're built,
Right.
honestly. So, but for any of you guys out there, whether you guys were the ones that got hurt or whether you were one of the ones that hurt the person, listen, hang in there. Everybody does make mistakes, and I pray this whole platform is about marriage and about coming together and making it, and really, bringing it together. And I heard we got a caller, so before we go tonight, we have a caller on the line.
Yes, good evening. Good evening. This is Monica.
Hi,
Good evening. Hey, Miss Monica.
What's up, ladies?
What's going on
So-
with you?
Yes. I wanted to call in before the show ended just to say a couple of points. There are habitual cheaters.
Yes.
And like the last show that you all had last week, regardless of how great that woman is or how great that man is, sometimes it's the inner me that's
Yes.
the enemy.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so
Yes.
sometimes nothing that you do is going to make that person stop. They have to stop within because of
Yes.
whatever they're dealing with, whether it's self-esteem, whether it's self-doubt, or what have you. Second of all, let's talk about, again, in the church. And therefore, I know that I have spoken with women, and finding the Lord is life-changing. And a lot of times we find God within a marriage. Initially, you act one way, and now that you are in a relationship with your Heavenly Father, you have changed some things. And so a lot of times, in the Bible, it says that the, husband and wife's bed is undefiled. But again, now you're only going to choir rehearsal and Bible study, and you are not now again being sexual, being flirtatious with your husband. And again, that leaves a window again that's open.
Right.
Sometimes people, and I know we've been talking about, how long am I going to continue to go through or continue to keep saying, I'm sorry, and continue to try to regain your trust. I think a lot of times we need to have a conversation of why I stepped out before.
Yes.
And so just like you want to keep, nagging and asking and for details, how about asking, what could I have done differently?
Amen.
What were
Amen.
you not getting? Because I need to do a progress report on my end.
Amen.
Sometimes in regard to the reason why people are stepping out and you ask, are you going to stay out? Is because just like you said, a love in regard to fences, this person is giving me something that you're not giving me anymore. They are dreaming with me. They are stroking my ego.
Yes.
And the whole thing about cheating, it is fantasy.
Yes.
Definitely it's
Yes.
fantasy because you're not discussing that electric bill.
That's
Y'all not
right.
talking about going up to the
Amen.
damn school because your child ain't acting right. And then you're not talking about,
Yep. Yep. The
you
reality
are,
ain't there.
not pulling your share, whether you're a man or a woman.
Right.
You're not working. You may be a wife that's at home, but yet and still, when your husband get home, he still got to cook or find out, what we doing. Sometimes you got to take the lead and say, hey, I'm going to make sure that on my end, I am doing everything that I could possibly can.
Amen.
Am I going to fall short? Absolutely, because I'm not perfect.
That's right.
But yet and still, we have to kind of revisit who we are, do a progress report, put some things down. Kids that go to school, they get a progress report every 6 weeks.
Amen.
Where are you failing? Where are you failing? Are you failing in becoming a cheerleader? Are you failing because you're not building your spouse up? Are you failing because everything else is so important but your spouse? Are you failing? Do your progress report. Find out if you're failing. And then sometimes you need to go back and say, I need to retake this test, baby. I'm
Amen.
sorry.
I like that.
I like that.
That's
All
good,
right, Monica.
good,
Good.
Yes,
good, yeah.
indeed.
Love it. Thank you so much
What
for
a great
calling
way
in.
to end
Yeah.
the show.
Absolutely.
Right?
Keep doing
Yes,
what
it
y'all doing
was.
because I love it.
Thank you,
We
darling.
love you. You know what? I love the points that Monica brought up because it does take two strong individuals to make a marriage work.
It does.
And I really believe that in this day and age, because of what we see on TV, because of how they have portrayed so much to be, so wonderful and fabulous,
Marriage.
and they
Yeah,
don't deal with the
period.
day-to-day
Yeah.
things
That's
that
right.
life brings in,
That's right.
that we become weak. So now you can't handle anything. So when something comes up, are you having those conversations of, well, what could I do to make it better?
Yeah.
Or what can I do to spice things up? Or, well, what are you, if you had a chance to say, okay, baby, I want you to do something, what would it be? A lot of times, we don't want to have those kind of conversations because nobody wants to feel like you're short or
Right.
or have your shortcomings acknowledged. But
Right.
if you, truth be told, if you're in it to win it,
That's
Yeah.
right.
and you're going to stay together, then like Monica says, when you get a performance review at your job. When you're going to school, you get a progress report. So in the same token for marriage, you've got to know where you stand and how are you progressing and are we moving in the same
Are we
direction?
moving, right?
That's
Are
right.
we moving
That's
at
right.
all?
There
Right.
has to be some kind of
Yeah.
momentum.
Yes.
That's right.
A
Yes.
forward progress. You can't be one of us, is way back here,
Right.
and you trying to go forward and they're holding you back. So
That's
definitely,
right.
I think that if there's any other takeaway from this is that you have got to get to a position where you are strong enough to want the best for yourself and for your spouse and for your marriage. And if that's not where you're at, then you need to start working on it and make it a priority. You know, maybe spending some time together one-on-one with the TV off, with the phones put up, and have a real honest-to-God conversation. Not the fluff. You know, not the, well, you know, you need to pick up Susie and take her to practice, and you got to pick up John and take him over here, and all the things that we do in hustle and bustle, and then not have real conversation. Because I think that good communication can help a whole lot of things.
Oh, it does.
Absolutely,
it does.
yeah.
Well, that's it. We have had an amazing show. Our time is up.
Yes, it
Actually,
is.
for tonight. So take it away, love.
You want to run the run it on? Okay, great. So then what we're going to do is for everybody going forward, I hope that you enjoy the broadcast. I hope that you will share it. If you have not got a chance to get the whole thing, we will have it online for you to take a look at. But again, just reach out to us on social media, on Instagram and Twitter. We are at _HotWifeHotLife. Facebook, HotWifeHotLife. Also, you can catch us on our website, which is hotwife-hotlife.com. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. We will be back again next Monday night at the same time, 9 p.m. Hope to see you all to join us then.
Oh, okay. And I am sorry. One and Done is our campaign that we are definitely wanting you to be a part of it. Please donate. You can click on the link on 108praiseradio.com. Please, we need the donations. If you love the shows and if you love what we're doing, 24 hosts all around the country. We're very excited about what we're doing here at 108 Praise. And I'm telling you, we're getting out to the masses, and it's important. Your donation, just $1. That's all we're asking.
That's
$1.
Everybody on here can donate $1.
And I'm not going to be funny. For the people that I know and love, I want more than that. And I'm not even going to play around with it. But for all others, $1 will suffice. But please, www.108praiseradio.com, a part of those proceeds go to help our veterans. Vets for Veterans. Come on, we can do this. So we are excited, and we'll continue to be running this campaign through June, darling. So we're going to be hitting you up 24/7 until then. So go ahead and pay.
All right. Good night.
Good night.